Hi, I'm Eric, and today we're going to meet a former Frederick County Public Schools graduate who now serves with FCPS, helping to collect, organize, analyze, and distribute information. Let's go inside and meet her. So today we're here with Amber Millison. She's the Planning Data and GIS Analyst for Frederick County Public Schools. Amber, thank you so much for allowing us a little bit of your time today. How are you?
Thanks, I'm great. Happy to be here.
Good, good. So in a moment, we're going to talk about what the Planning Data and GIS Analyst does for Frederick County Public Schools. But before we do that, I want to get to know a little bit about you and your background. So you are a Governor Thomas Johnson graduate.
I am, yes.
Awesome.
Monocacy Elementary, Monocacy Middle, and TJ. Yep.
Oh, wonderful. So when did you graduate from TJ?
I graduated in 2016.
Awesome. And since then, what have you done? I know you have your undergraduate and your graduate degree. What did you major in your undergrad?
Yeah, so I got my undergrad. I came into school undecided, and as I started taking some of my gen ed classes, I really liked the earth science, just gen ed class, and I ended up majoring as a double major in earth science and then geography, and I took the atmospheric track of geography.
Wonderful. And I'm glad you shared that, because oftentimes we have students that leave high school and they're entering a career, whether it's college or a professional career, and they may not be 100% sure what it is they want to do.
Yep.
So what caused you what sparked that interest in the earth sciences?
Yeah, that was exactly me. I knew that I was always interested in environmentalism and things like that, but I wasn't super set on a more common field, which is environmental science or environmental studies. So I talked to my advisor when I was still undecided, and she told me about the earth science program at Salisbury University. And she enticed me by telling me that they go on a lot of field trips, and I thought that was really cool. So yeah, I signed up for the classes and ended up doing really well. So yeah, found my place there.
Nice. It's awesome when you can find your place.
Yes.
And so after you finished your undergraduate, you went on to get your graduate degree. And what did you major in there?
Yeah, I did. So I graduated undergrad during 2020, which was the COVID year. So instead of going straight into the workforce, I decided to stay in school. So I got my graduate degree in geo-environmental studies, and I was focused, my thesis was actually on the relationship between convective precipitation and how that may be affected by urban land use, which we figured out with GIS.
That's fascinating.
Thank you.
So that was your graduate degree, and then right after you finished, did you go into working in that field? What did you do after you finished?
So actually, I was still in grad school finishing up my thesis when I noticed that there was an opening at Frederick County Public Schools, and it was essentially in the same thing I studied for. GIS is a really broad field. It's basically just a type of software that you can do all sorts of analyses on lots of different subjects. But being a geography major and earth science major, we really focus on GIS a lot. So I had a lot of experience with that. My whole thesis analysis was through GIS.
And I see you looking here. Is this
Yes.
an aspect of GIS?
This is an aspect of GIS. This is a dashboard that I made through our platform called ArcGIS Online. This is basically Frederick County. As you can see, all of our different attendance areas, and then we have filters and indicators all around this that tell us how much development is going on and where, and how many students we can expect from that.
So if I'm reading this accurately, our red borders here are for our high schools.
Yes.
Then green would be for the middle schools.
Yep.
And then our blues would be our elementary schools.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So as the Planning Data and GIS Analyst for Frederick County Public Schools, exactly what does that involve? What do you do for the school system and for the community?
Right, so it's a lot of different things. I kind of divide it into two parts. So the planning data aspect, I work in the capital programs department, and I do a lot of stuff to help with preparing enrollment projections, planning for school construction, and basically everything that we do kind of comes together at the end of the year in our educational facilities master master plan, which is, we update it every year, but it's a 10-year plan on facility projects, and it has a lot of information about student enrollment, residential growth, just like this dashboard is showing, and things like that. So the planning data part is working with data, working with enrollment projections, student data, and then that kind of leads into the GIS aspect of my job, which is basically taking data, taking student data, pipeline data, residential pipeline data, and putting it into a GIS, which I guess I should define is a geographic information system. So you can basically run all sorts of queries and analyses based on not only where things are in space, but also non-spatial characteristics. So one thing that we do every year as part of our enrollment projections is just a small aspect of that is looking where our 5th graders and 8th graders live, so we can kind of help determine where they might go to middle school and high school when they're moving up the next year. So a great student grade would be something that's non-spatial, but having that in GIS, we can look at that with a spatial context. Yeah.
So you talked about the residential pipeline.
Yes.
So I'm thinking when we talk about construction that's happening in Frederick County, the number of homes in Frederick County, that information is put into the geographic information system along with our current enrollment to project student enrollment for the upcoming year?
It's a part of it. Our projections have a lot of different formulas and a lot of different factors that we consider. That is one part. Obviously, some parts of the county are growing a lot faster than others. So this is just kind of a handy tool to see what's going on right now. We update this every quarter. And it's also good to know that just because the development is out there and it's approved and we know it's coming, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen right away or even the next year. It could be 20 or 30 years out. Some of these have just been approved and kind of sitting here for a while.
I'm glad you shared that. So it's not just one factor that's looked at, it's multiple factors that lead to the enrollment data that we receive as a school system. So what do you enjoy most about the job that you do?
Honestly, the thing I enjoy most is that GIS, I think, is relatively unknown, and especially how much power it actually has. So sometimes I'll get a question like, hey, I'm trying to figure this out. Can you help me, or can you make a map for me? And then I can do it. And it's always nice to see people really, really happy with the outcome, happy with how quick things can be done with GIS, because basically you know where everything is. So it's easy to pull things that relate to space. So
since we're looking at this, just a question for you. How would this particular dashboard that you created be used?
So this is, we use this internally all the time. This is our residential development dashboard, updated every quarter. What we can do is we've added filters for every attendance area. So we can apply those filters and it will tell you all of the residential developments going on in that attendance area, how many remaining units are left. So basically remaining units are what has been approved but hasn't been permitted or built yet. And then we have this indicator on the side telling us how many students we expect from that development.
So for countywide, this is the number of students we can expect at each level.
Yes. And this is for everything that's on the county pipeline right now. I think I mentioned earlier that this is not all going to come today or next year, but it's basically just what we have on our horizon.
The passion, excitement, and dedication Amber has for her work is exceptional. Amber shared her love for not only looking at and making maps, but being able to do it in the county she was born in, grew up in, and still lives in today. Amber works within the Capital Programs Department and supports the team in constructing, renovating, replacing, or adding an addition to a school. Her maps are submitted to the state when a new or replacement school is being built. When creating maps for new schools, Amber is looking at the vicinity and natural features surrounding the site. How much space do they have? Are they over or under capacity? I asked Amber if we could take a closer look at her alma mater, Governor Thomas Johnson High School. She explained how this map allows one to see projected enrollment growth and how densely populated areas are. What Amber does on a daily basis is essential to Frederick County Public Schools. So Amber, why is your role essential to the work that happens here in Frederick County Public Schools?
So to start, Frederick County is the fastest growing county in Maryland. So we're seeing a lot of new students every single year. And with that, we have a lot of existing school buildings that we need to make sure are maintained, and where they're past the point of maintenance, we need to know when we need to replace them or when we need a new school entirely. So it's important to have sound data that we can base those decisions on, and being able to have someone like me here on staff, whether it's something like a big decision like building a new school, or even if it's just something minor like how many students in a special program live in this area, or how many students live in this development that's being built out right now. It's good to have that data ready to access, and to have someone on staff who knows how to access that.
That's awesome, yeah. And I think, for our community, it's important to do that, because just like anything, over time, buildings wear out. We have a phenomenal team here in FCPS that does a great job of maintaining and caring for our buildings. But what you all do is, as our community grows, you're looking at, can this facility still meet the needs of the population?
Exactly, yes.
And when it can't, again, is it a new building? Is it a renovation? Is it a revamping of a current building, or is it an addition? Those types of things.
Right.
Awesome. Well, Amber, we appreciate everything that you do here at Frederick County Public Schools. As a former student and now a colleague here in the system, serving as a planning, data, and GIS analyst is key to helping us to have the most up-to-date data on the growth that's happening in our school system.
Yes,
Thanks for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Awesome. One of the things I enjoy about being able to speak with our colleagues across FCPS is learning a little bit more about the work that they do. Amber, our planning, data, and GIS analyst, is part of a larger team, our Department of Capital Programs. And they do a great job of planning for long-term enrollment for FCPS and individual schools. The work that she and her team do on a daily basis is essential to FCPS, because it helps us to be prepared now for the future. We appreciate everything that each and every one of them does to ensure we have up-to-date data on our enrollment and projections for the future. Well, everyone, until next time, please continue to take care of yourself, take care of each other, and be well.